Hey everybody, it's Coach Lisa with the Running University here again for one of my favorite segments that I do, I think on the fourth Thursday of every month on YouTube. The reason I got a little confused is because there's actually 5 Thursdays in June. And so now I'm not sure if I said the last or the fourth, but I think I'm going with the fourth. Anywho, here we are today. I love doing these because I have some amazing women in my tribe, as you know, if you've been watching them. And today I want you guys to meet Janet Little. There's Janet in outer space.
In outer space.
Janet's been a member of the tribe for a while. We'll just start out with the questions because that's probably the easiest way to go about it. And I always like to ask if you remember how it is that you met me, basically, because that kind of just leads us to the rest of it.
Yeah, well, actually, I think I can count myself as maybe an original. It was before you started the TRU TRIBE.
Yep.
Yeah, it was the 50K Spines to the Pines out in Arizona. And I did it the year before, the first time, and then I wanted to do it the second time. And so they brought you on as kind of the coach. And you did such an amazing job and just bringing everybody together. And I had a great experience with that, having you as a coach, that I guess I just kind of tagged along and have followed you along ever since.
Oh, thank you. I do. I remember that. And that was actually because I was doing, and you said Spines to Pines, which is the tagline. The Crown King 50K is the race that Janet's referring to. And yes, we're big 𝙤𝙖𝙤 running fans. I don't think this is new news to anybody watching any of my videos. And the Crown King 50K is not an easy 50K. And they had a program. It was a ladies training program. And the year before there was a different coach. Okay. So yes, Crown King 50K, 𝙤𝙖𝙤 had a ladies training program and you did the first one. And I don't remember what happened. The coach, they just needed a different coach that year. And I think I had offered up. And so that was my first. That's kind of really almost how the TRU TRIBE was born, actually. I mean, I had a group of people, but having that ladies training program is really what started fueling me as a coach, because it was so fun to get the camaraderie and everybody together. And you met some people there. I want to say Michelle, right? LOA. I'm trying to think who else was in that program. But at any rate, it started, I don't know if you remember, Rachel.
Yeah, Rachel, Michelle, Stephanie, that she sent.
Yeah, Stephanie, yeah. So it was, and I was contracted with 𝙤𝙖𝙤, and then of course, I kind of moved on, and now I still do rate the opportunities with them, but I just do them on my own, and then they still support me. So awesome. And how long have you been running? Because you met me, if you're doing a 50K, you already had been running for a while.
I've been running for a while. And before I met you, the year before was my first 50K. I only did marathons. But I found as I've been getting older, it just becomes harder and harder. I just don't have that drive like I used to when I was younger. I could go out and train and run on my own, and it was, I don't want to say easy, but I mean, I could do it. And I found as I entered, definitely in my 50s, but mid 40s, that drive, maybe energy drive, I just didn't have it anymore. So that's where I needed to start looking for, a group of people to belong to get motivated.
Yeah. And I think too, maybe as we age, or maybe our lives get a little busier, so maybe like our careers kind of get in the way a little bit of training and that type of thing. So I think as we age, those are things that we have to consider. And when you have a coach and a group of people, it definitely helps, keep you motivated. So before that 50K, your marathons were the longest that you had done. And you also do triathlons, or had done triathlons, or no?
Yeah, the longest I did was an Ironman.
Okay, that's pretty big. Explain what an Ironman is, because I don't think we've talked about Ironman on this series before.
On this thing, Ironman's a triathlon, and it's a little over a 2-mile swim, then 2.1 mile swim, 112 miles on the bike, and then you run a full marathon at 26.2, all at once, and that does take a lot of training, and it is wonderful. I love doing all the 3 disciplines: swim, bike, run. But then, and once again, and I don't know whether age-wise or I just started transitioning and a little bit transitioning away, and And it was when I moved out to Arizona was where I discovered trail running. Oh my God, whoever knew that, trail running existed. Because I always did road on the road, and I've done a few marathons, and so that was what my running entailed. And like I said, it wasn't until I went out to Phoenix, Arizona, and the trails out there are just amazing. And as you mentioned before, the Aravaipa group, and then with you and the whole group out there I haven't found anything that quite duplicates what's going on out in Phoenix, Arizona.
Awesome. Yeah, because I remember because you live in San Diego. So for, again, for the people who are listening to this and always tell me, well, I can't be part of your tribe because I'm not local. I'm not going to lie. We do stuff that's local. And I know people who aren't local kind of like, oh, I wish I could be there. Right. But we do a lot of stuff online. And I do remember when you had started that we were trying to find you a group out in San Diego, right? Like a group of at least women, like, it doesn't have to be women only. I like the women only personally, because I think there's just a different energy and camaraderie, especially as we age again. I think that aging, we find a group of women. So you did that program. The tribe didn't really exist. And then I don't know if you remember when you came back to the tribe, or what made you decide to come back to the tribe?
Well, one of it, it's an injury, just my back. So I had that severe injury that just put me in the toilet for quite a while. But even still, I won't even say even right now, I've been going to a few smaller trail runs here and there, trying to find, trying to duplicate what you have with the TRU Tribe. And I find, here's something I find interesting that's been my experience, is it's almost like two camps. They're either, and I agree with you, back of finding like-minded women, more so women than co-ed.
Yeah.
But I'm finding women are either still that competitive, fast running, they're looking at their time, where, let's face it, that's not really much me anymore. Or then it's the flip, where they just kind of go hiking, they can't really run much, or they don't like to, it's not enough for me. So finding that middle ground has been difficult. And as you said, I'm mostly here in San Diego. I do go back to Arizona, but I still have that connection because we have, our group, and you host so much, and we got so much going on, and then the out of state, out of town runs that we do, those are always top of my list of my big wow and memories for the year.
Yeah, you just had a big one this year with us, didn't you? And that wasn't even really technically a TRU Tribe event, because the TransRockies series is kind of my little coveted, but you came to Moab and you loved it, right?
Well, I loved it so much. 3-day, I thought, 3-day, 6-day. So I signed up for the one in August, the 6-day run.
Right.
It was, I just loved the atmosphere and the feel for that. And, and staying in touch with you and being part of the TRU Tribe. So, and the big thing is having, you basically keep me motivated, or I like to say, kick my butt. And call me out when I'm being lazy, and that's what I need.
And I just got goosebumps when you said that, because that's the other, Greg and I were talking about this. We were on a long road trip yesterday. It took 3 hours and it was supposed to. Anyway, that's a whole other story. But we were just talking about this, how because of the level of, we have age groups, it's mostly 50 plus, right? But I do have some younger people. But we have women, I want to say our oldest person is 67 or so in our group. And there's so much inspiration, and you see these awesome events happening, and you're like, I can do this, right? So I'm so jazzed up. TransRockies is by far one of my favorite events, and I can't wait for you to get to experience that side of it, because it is definitely different. Moab is amazing, but that's definitely different. And actually, in November, we're coming to your side. We're going to do a half marathon in Catalina Island, which has been on my bucket list for a while.
I know, finally something local for me. So I'm not always going aggressive.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. So because I have your member spotlight, and this one, I think we did this a while ago. I was like 2020 when I asked you these questions. But I'm just going back to a couple of questions that I thought, and again, you could answer them however, you don't even have to answer it. What would you do differently knowing what you know now, from where you were?
You know, what I would do differently. I definitely, if I could, I would find a group sooner. You know, and even running can be a soul sport. You can just go out and run by yourself. And I think because of that, why would I go find a group? It's not like I'm going to go play volleyball or, some group activity. And so having said that, it's you really have to force yourself to go out and find people to run with.
Mm-hmm.
Just like I said earlier, finding that right fit, those that aren't, the ones that just want to hike and look at things and take pictures versus the ones that are still running for time. It's finding that fit's really hard.
Yeah.
And you know what? And actually, of course, having said all that, is I'm trying to look back and just enjoy what my journey has been.
I love that. I love that, right? Like it's so true. And I think, again, it's kind of, this is an aging thing. And this is why I'm so big about wanting to get women running, even if they're not running, like 50 plus women. That's kind of my goal. Get them on the trails because we all love the trails. Finding the joy. It is really, all the power to the people who want to be competitive. Huge respect, like not taking anything. And there's coaches and there's groups of people for those people, right? But what I'm building here, and I say we because it takes a village, and we have such an amazing group of women. And if you've been following me, I vet people to join the tribe. Like this is a process, and ultimately my goal is to have these little tribe satellites all over the country. Like we would have one in San Diego, so that, and we could build it with people like us, like-minded women like us. Again, 50 plus ideally, but we have people that are in their 30s in the tribe, and I'm sure they're looking at people double their age going, man, look at what she's doing. So I love that. I love that you said that. Let's see, anything else that you can think of that we didn't talk about that you want to address or share as people are listening to this?
Well, just to kind of piggyback on what you were saying about, getting a tribe and getting more people. The one really cool thing that I've noticed when we go out and go out of state or out of town, and we usually get an Airbnb and we're all together. The friendship that you build, or that I build, has been just so amazing, because for whatever reason it just seems like we're all of the same mind, and just because of that, the whole camaraderie is so special that, and I think it's because like you just said earlier, it's not that you vet people, but it's the people, we all tend to be the same of this mind that follow you and join you. And so then when we all get together in the first time meeting, or now we're Facebook friends, and what are you doing, and what race are you doing, and it's just amazing on how we built that ongoing camaraderie.
Totally. I mean, you're talking to my heart, of course, right? But it is like, that whole saying, and I think I've said this in other spotlights, where they say your vibe attracts your tribe. Yep. 200%, right? Like I feel that when people do find us or they get to us, and I will say this again, if you're listening, send me an email, lisa@therunninganiversity.com. And if you want to try a 30-day free membership to come into the tribe, I'm happy to do that. So just send me an email. But I actually say it's not even about the running and the walking, really, right? Like that's how this started, and that's what kind of brings us together. But the friendships, like I say, this is for life, right? Like all these people that we're meeting, like, and some people you end up being closer with others. And again, as aging women, we have a lot of the same things that we're dealing with, for people that, we don't have kids, but we have people who have kids and they're empty nesters, the whole aging process, finding, the people that you can socialize as we get older that we need to have. So for me, that really is way more about the friendship in the community. The running is kind of the catalyst that got us here together. So I just love that you focus on that. Didn't even pay her to say that, I swear.
No, and being remote, I still am able to enjoy that. Matter of fact, and even though it's not a True Tribe event, we have the Flagstaff, the Big Pine and Blackout coming up in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And that's where, Michelle that I met, we're camping together, and we've created these lasting friendships.
Exactly.
And it's really special.
Big time. And again, that to me is what this is about at the end. So again, if you're listening to this and anything that we've been talking about, even if you're not a runner yet, again, I talk to people, like I'm really trying to hone in on walkers, right? Like get walking, get hiking, maybe we start dabbling into some trail running, we'll see, whatever. But like, that is really it. Like just having this group of supportive women. I mean, sometimes I read some of the posts that I put in the tribe, when I ask questions, and to see not just the support of people communicating with each other, right? And like how they're supporting each other. So it's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Janet. I don't know, was there anything else that you wanted to add?
Well, hopefully, maybe we can get some more San Diego people.
Heck yeah, let's get that, and as a matter of fact, if you're in San Diego and this at all, vibed with you, definitely reach out to me, send me an email, I'll hook you up with Janet, and then, we can go from there. But, again, my goal is to get these all around the country, and it's going to take me a minute, but at the same time, I can't wait for that to happen, because our tribe just keeps growing with just some amazing women. And every day I feel so lucky that I get to do this and meet these amazing women who are going to be part of my life and my friends for the rest of my life. So, all right, y'all. Again, Lisa at therunningsuniversity.com. Just send me a quick email if you want to come in. There's no obligation whatsoever. We're really chill. So you come in 30 days, you stay, you don't stay. It's all good. Thanks.
Thank you, Lisa.